Welcome, everyone. Hi, I am Rashmi Chanduraj, the founder of Arcstone Capital Partners. I'm actually thrilled, to host this webinar on the role of, women in AI and innovation. Our discussion's actually going to, it's pretty interesting. We're going to cover like a lot, of um, interesting AI, geeky stuff, which, I'm excited. So our discussion, like I said, is going to cover three main things. We're going to look at the impact of women in AI, and what contributions they've made to the tech diversity. We'll talk about fostering innovation and achieving sort of gender equality, and more importantly, which is really what I'm excited about, is we'll look at how the specific use case, in how AI is actually transforming real estate and the real estate industry. It's my pleasure to actually introduce our guest, Cassie Hearn. Cassie is, one of the few women women leaders that I know who is one in real estate, multifamily real estate, and super passionate about teaching, how you can leverage AI and, specifically in business. And, she's the founder of High Rise Capital and Creative Minds. At High Rise, she actually excels in connecting everyday people with like apartment, syndications, and strengthens, relationships with existing investors. At Creative Minds, she's focused on educating people about AI and offering consulting services to help businesses implement AI and, really use the solutions effectively. In 2023, as ChatGPT began reshaping technology and the business landscape, Cassie and her team embraced AI and transformed their operations. This integration turned her team into an AI powerhouse. And while everyone marveled at AI's basic capabilities, including me, her team used it significantly to boost productivity and efficiencies. So she is committed to empowering others to leverage, AI, and, teaching entrepreneurs how to revolutionize their business, in building AI-powered teams and harnessing the full potential of today's technology. I'm sure you all are eager to get started. So let's dive into the world of AI and innovation with Cassie. Cassie, welcome again. Thanks for being here.
Was on mute. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah. Let's start with the significant impact of women in AI and their contributions to tech diversity. What unique perspectives do women bring to AI development and implementation? Granted that it's fairly new as far as specifically to ChatGPT. I'm not talking about like artificial intelligence across, but just specifically with this. But can you talk to us about what unique perspectives do you think women bring?
That is a good question. I think that it's pretty interesting. I think that women bring more of like a collaborative kind of approach. And I think that we're more inclined to like, emphasize like teamwork in the workplace over men. No offense, men. I just think, yeah, there's so much diversity with having women on the team because I feel like we bring more emotion to different topics and we want to like emphasize being collaborative with everybody. As far as like, the teams that I've been on, when I was in accounting, I felt like there was a lot more women in leadership. And then like having women in leadership, I felt like it was like the first time where you can like, be a team together and people like cared more about like your feelings and emotions. So I think that women are awesome. I think that we have better problem solving. We have like more empathy. And I think it's just great for the world of technology.
That's great. Yeah, no, for sure. And to your point, yes, I think there are definitely strengths that men bring to the table, and and having sort of that diversity on a team is just so powerful. So 100%. I love that you talked about how women sort of bring in a different sort of sensibility to a team, and have that sort of sense of collaboration, and kind of provide that emotional sort of quotient there. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
great. Yeah. Let's get into sort of the practical steps of, fostering innovation and achieve, to also achieve, gender equality. What are some, effective strategies, you think businesses can implement to foster innovation through, specifically AI, and like having those diverse teams?
Yeah, so I think it's a good question. I think that like just from my experience of working like the 9 to 5 world and working with the bigger companies, is that people kind of like sleep on the fact that you need SOPs, your standard operating procedures, and you need guidelines for people, like that continuous education. I think from what I've seen and just like experience, like again, like accounting, I kind of like got thrown into a lot of positions and different responsibilities. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and kind of had to like just learn from there, learn how to code on my own because there was no training. If you've ever been in accounting, like coding is not easy. That is a fact. Try to teach a few people about it, and it's just pretty hard. But like taking like that natural language that you have and like training and videos, you can download
Mhm.
those videos and get a transcript of it and create your SOPs within seconds. Because I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of companies just like not want to train their people because it's like so much money or it takes too much time. But AI is like cutting that time in half.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, for sure. I think, using, being able to leverage AI, and, using it to sort of, bring in that, efficiency into, the processes. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think, oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead. No, go ahead.
go ahead. I think like for me personally, like I've used a lot of AI to like free up my time. So like
Yeah,
just having more free time, like you could reinvest that back into like the business, or just like working hard and like expanding. You can also like expand your business, but also have more like free time for things that matter. Like for
yeah,
me, like I've gotten so much free time, I've been able to like go and volunteer a little bit more. But for
yeah,
businesses, I think that let's say they save time with training and that continuous education, they can reinvest that time back into like personal development for people too. Like, like those
true.
like those C-suite employees,
Hmm.
like reinvesting time back into like their personal development and like taking a day off as a team and going to like those like leadership conferences like Tony Robbins or Aspire and Limitless, and like you end up taking care of your team for like the personal development, leadership development, and still running your business with like different AI automations.
uh, Kind of make it a little bit more inclusive, and give it a sort of a holistic sort of environment. I love that. that's
Yeah.
that's that's a great sort of strategy to be able to adapt that. How do you think we can, like we talked about sort of, from a business standpoint, how we could use that. um how can educational institutions like contribute, and almost prepare themselves, and also inspire more women to pursue careers in AI?
Mm, I think that I feel like it starts like in middle school. You know how like you're in middle school and you kind of have like more science classes and more like robotics classes. I think like it's a great age is like start teaching like more about like AI and those different like initiatives. Because I've seen kids as young as like 7 and 8 starting to use ChatGPT, like writing
Yeah,
their own books and like creating coloring books. I feel like that could help in like the education world and like teaching kids more about it. Um,
that's great.
I think like those career days, I think if we have like an emphasis on like people in tech, especially like women in tech, and we have like career days that include that as well. I think it kind of gives those kids that just like don't have that exposure to it a little bit more. So they're like have their eyes open to like, hey, women can be in tech, we can be lawyers, we can be doctors. It's more normalized, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think, just being able to introduce that, to them, which, it's going to become their norm, very soon, right? I think to be able to teach them and exposing them the right way, to be able to leverage that, I think, is definitely going to be powerful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Now is the best part for me, because, I want to be able to, learn about the specific sort of use case, right? Like how AI is sort of transforming the real estate industry. We've seen many different use cases, like we've seen sort of on the legal front, folks who are using it for case, like litigation and, looking through hundreds of, like thousands of documents and, reviewing those and coming up with sort of synopses and, uh, thesis that kind of works for, for their industry. And similarly, like I've loved the way, AI is sort of transforming, real estate as well. Tell us about how you've used AI in real estate, given that, like you're running two different businesses, you're consulting on one that kind of, shares that expertise and, like you help other businesses with this. Talk to us about, what it is that you've used, and how people are currently using it.
So I think in terms of real estate, when I first started like talking about AI and real estate, like beginning of 2023, people thought I was crazy. They were like, how does AI even like relate to real estate? And I'm like, I feel like it relates in like every single way. What I was like breaking it down for someone like last week, and they were like, well, I feel like it applies more like on the operation side and like the marketing side. As far as like the operation side and like getting like, your real estate business running, I've used it in underwriting and
Mm,
capital raising and investor relations. I think the thing that like can benefit people most is like utilizing like the PDFs that you get from
mhm,
like ALN, Marcus and Millichap, CBRE, you name it, anything that has like market updates or any PDF at all that you have or website URL, you can use that kind of information for like ChatGPT. So what I've noticed is like, like ALN, for example, like it's a lot of
mhm.
different charts.
Yeah,
What you can do is like take that chart that they have on their market updates and then ask ChatGPT to break it down for you for your investors.
that's
And
powerful.
yeah, like for me, I'm just like, okay, so this is the state of the market this quarter this year. But
Mhm.
if you want to see like past trends too, like how was the real estate market back in 2020? Because we're 4 years later, it's an election year this year. So let's look at the trends for the last few years. You can do that if you have all those different PDFs online, going back on your market 4 or 5 years. You can use ChatGPT to like predict like what the market's going to do this year or 2025, but then always verify your information too. Like I'll go
Mhm.
and I'll ask it. Let's see, I have something. Yeah, just like something quick. Like if I was to look at Charlotte, North Carolina market updates from 2020 to 2024, can you estimate what it would look like in 2025? Cite your sources. So for me, it'll cite places like RealPage or Realtor.com or Marcus and
Mhm.
Millichap, and I'll tell you where it got that prediction from. And then you just go back and verify that information through different sources.
Wow, that's great. So you can essentially use it for, like doing some of the market research, related,
Yeah.
um, functions, which is so powerful, right? Like, I mean, today we all go to Google to do that, but it's, you kind of have to break it up, just comparing that with how you've been able to use that in ChatGPT. Do you think it sort of consolidates everything in one place, as compared to what you would do on Google?
Sort of. So there's Gemini. Gemini is like a
Yeah.
competitor for ChatGPT. I kind of feel like they're like the same now. I don't know, someone may disagree, but I feel like they're the same now because like they are up to date. So like if you go on Gemini or ChatGPT, you can ask it what concerts are happening tonight where I live, and it'll tell you updated information.
Yeah.
But yeah, pulling information like that from Google and Gemini should be the same as ChatGPT. But I'm a huge ChatGPT fan because I always ask it to cite its sources, and I feel like it gives me a more in-depth answer than Google.
Yeah.
It's like Gemini, since it's like affiliated with Google, it wants to lead you back to Google. So I
Sure.
don't feel like I get that many detailed answers. Um, but I would recommend Google and Gemini though, if you're looking up any like property images.
Mhm.
Let's say you see like a property, you have a photo of it, you say, oh, I love this. I've noticed that if I upload it to Gemini, it'll tell
Yeah.
me exactly where that's located at. Even if it's just like, it's not a famous building, it's just like an apartment building, it'll identify the address of that for you too.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, do we want to go, do you want to share your screen and we could, see what output it would share? Sorry, I don't mean to put you on a spot, but
No, no
you
worries.
probably can walk us and the audience through, what that's going to look like.
Okay, let me see. I need to get a property image of something then. Send me, do you have a photo of the property that you just closed on?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to, I don't know if you can send it on this chat. Um,
Can I send it on the chat? I don't think I
or you can
can.
text it to me. I have a MacBook. I can just pull it over.
Okay, let me see. That would be interesting.
Yeah, so Gemini and ChatGPT are very similar with like uploading images, or PDFs. Like if you have like a sample of an offering memorandum, it can like, have the details of the property that you're looking for. You can also ask it to look that up for you.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, I always say like I'm a fan of ChatGPT, but I would say like always verify your information. Never trust what it says. If you,
For
especially if
sure.
you're in law school or something and try to write a paper, definitely verify the information. Um,
Yeah. Do you want to just go to, this search and, put in Woodcrest Apartments?
let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Is it
Say Lubbock.
okay?
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and get an image of it. Where can I find? Okay, let me see if I can save this one. And then like what day is it? Where is this at? Okay.
The date you said? Oh,
So I'm gonna ask Gemini, can you identify this apartment complex? And it won't always be accurate, but it did identify it. Okay.
yeah.
So Woodcrest
Wow.
Apartments in Lubbock, Texas. So if you ever
Wow.
have someone on Instagram or Facebook saying, "Hey, I just closed on a property," and then they said they can't identify or tell you what name it is, just upload a photo here, and here you go. Flat roof. Does this the right description of it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Isn't
No,
that cool?
that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool just to be able to do that. I suppose, while in with apartments, you probably can do it with many other things. That's,
Oh yeah. Like especially
yeah,
like underwriting.
yeah,
Like if you use like AI to like underwrite your deals or at least like come up with an initial analysis, it'll save you so much time uploading like the rent roll, the offering memorandum, any document
yeah,
that you have for it, and just have it organized it like on an Excel. You can have all
yeah,
the details of all these different properties that you have and just be able to like underwrite it a little bit better with like all your points that you need. Like you needed to
yeah,
hit like certain numbers, you can add it into a prompt and then just go from there. Like I've trained like a virtual assistant how to do that and like
yeah.
take different properties and giving it to them and just asking them like to do like a pass fail second look. So
Mm-hmm.
so if it's like a pass or needs a second look, I would go in there and make sure that it's actually good to go and
Yeah,
then go from there.
that's awesome. You mean a virtual assistant, which is a bot or an AI that you've trained to be able to do this, or this is an actual VA?
So this is a virtual assistant. This is like an actual
Okay.
person. Um,
Okay.
I feel like there is room for automations in the future for that. So back when I was like working in accounting, I saw like a lot of manual work like be done. We had a lot of like tasks that you had to like type in, same thing, very
Mm-hmm.
repetitive. What I did is like I worked with our robotic process automation team,
Mm-hmm.
basically people that build bots. And
Yeah.
what I did, I said, hey, like I don't want to do this work anymore. It's too manual. Like I feel like me and my team we were worth more than this, like we can't be
Mm-hmm.
doing the manual work every day. So me and the robotics team, we worked for 7 months to do testing to automate all of our work for us.
Yeah.
So I took the work from like the bots that they did in 3 other different departments and different spreadsheets and try to see how that could work for us in accounting operations. And then work that would take 5 people 5 days to do, ended up being like a job of like 1 or 2 people in one day. So just like
Wow.
right there and like automating, we were able to like not lose our jobs, but like
Mm-hmm.
be trained on like more important things and like upskilling. And
Yeah.
then I left the company before I got to see this, but everyone got promoted. Everyone got promoted and they're all happy now for people that work in a 9 to 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that definitely that was not my world. I loved accounting, but I'm like such an entrepreneur at heart. So I love real estate. I love this world that we were in and using AI. Like this is definitely more of my forte.
That's great. You go where the heart is, right? That's awesome. What are things, that have sort of worked well, in real estate? Obviously, you had some examples that you've shared. Um, but, just for the audience to know whether you are an entrepreneur or, you're a student or, you just want to know more and see what use cases would work. What do you believe has worked well, uh, using AI?
Yeah, I think that people are like more aware of like automations now and realizing like if you have to do it manually, just figure out how to automate it. Um,
Mhm.
I think that piece people are still working on and like the different integrations with all the systems that you use. Like for me, I use Slack, I use ClickUp for my project
Mhm.
management tool. I use G Drive and I use what is it? Oh my God, Go High Level. Go High Level as my
Yeah.
CRM. Sorry. So it's like all these different systems, they all work together. But if you're looking at all these
Mhm.
automations that are out there right now, I'm like, there's still a lot of work to do. Um, I think where it's working is like the chatbots. You know how
Mhm.
like you have like, offshore customer service and all these like real people having to answer the phones and answer questions. I think like we got it right with the chatbots for like larger companies. Those like larger like businesses like Target or Walmart, if they have more people like reaching out to them. I think they're doing a better job with the texts and the chat bots and answering like those frequently asked questions. Obviously that doesn't work for smaller teams for us in real estate because yes, chatbots are cool. People want to automate them and get them on their websites, but I don't think we need them yet unless like you're a bigger real estate company. For us, what works, I think, is like the SMS automations.
Mhm.
So if you need to like text your investors or they want to text you, you can set up automations to like text back and forth with them. As long as you like let them know that it's not you, it's your AI doing it or something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's,
no.
but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other areas where it's working. I think like marketing too. I'm a big marketing person, so I feel like I like use a lot of data and rely on automations a lot because it just
Yeah.
like amplifies me and turns me into like three people, you know?
Yeah. How do you actually make sure that between SMS and even using it on the marketing front, you know, you keep you keep the messaging, not so robotic. Are they sort of tricks or tips that you have to share where
Definitely. So I think that you and I and the whole world have seen like all of these new posts that people have on social media. And you know how you can tell like it's ChatGPT, like we're
yeah.
using more emojis, right?
Hmm.
So I think that if you can customize your language on ChatGPT, set up your custom instructions if you have it. If
Yeah.
you don't know how you sound and like your communication style and what you like, figure that out. Like what you and I are doing now, like it's capturing our voices. We can take like the transcript of this and can analyze like how we're talking and to get like our speaking style. Our speaking style and how we want to like have that be in writing, get all of that into Chat GPT and kind of tell it how to sound like us. Let me show you.
How often do you do that?
Um, I haven't done it in a while. I can show
Okay.
you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let me show you. Okay. So I just kind of have like the basics. Which screen can you see? Okay, you can see
I
it.
can see. Yeah.
Um, I kind of have the basics of who I am, basically I keep it simple. I don't like to be too detailed because it'll translate into like my output. For how I want it to respond, I have do not use the word delve because that means that use ChatGPT. And never say, I hope this email finds you well. And then I kind of played around with how I want it to sound like me.
Yeah.
What I did is I took one of, well, actually a few different meetings that I had with people, and I had ChatGPT assess like my tone of voice, my writing style, and I put it into here. It says that
Cool.
friendly and relatable, educational with a light touch. And then I also tell ChatGPT how to structure it and have my delivery. And then I
Yeah,
always want it to include a little bit of my humor and lightness in there too.
that's
Um,
very cool.
yeah, so I think by doing that and getting ChatGPT like ready for you, setting up like a custom GPT, it has everything about you, your business. You can set that up, kind of pimp it out, and have like your virtual assistant just take over. You can share it with them and have them do like your social media for you, your email marketing. I just know like the biggest pain point with that is like people just not knowing like how to instruct their VAs,
Yeah.
um, or even like how to do it themselves, you know?
Hmm.
So I think that understanding like what to actually do on terms like the marketing side is so important. Always personalize, always use their first name, gather as much data about your people as possible, and just don't bombard them with information, you know? Just kind of see
Yeah.
like their communication styles and how they want to be talked to, and you can use AI to do that. It's what a cool world we're in, you know?
Yeah, no, I 100%. I love that. I remember one of the other things that just comes to my mind right now when we talked about, I know when we've talked earlier, you had mentioned like you'll go into the when you go grocery shopping, you'll actually take, a screenshot of it and you'll, you'll get that information, off of the label. And, I thought that was brilliant to be able to, be able to do that and kind of, also, sort of monitor it for yourself, right? Like saying, hey, like, are you actually eating healthy, or is this way too much sodium, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, you want to tell the audience, how you've actually used it. I know we're kind of, going off on a different tangent, but I thought that was, that was really unique.
Yeah, so my boyfriend actually makes fun of me about that. I use ChatGPT at the grocery store. I'm very weird. I know it's off topic. I'm very weird. I don't like to be in the grocery store for more than 15 or 20 minutes, even if I'm buying a lot of stuff, even if I'm at Costco. So I make a list organized by section, set a timer, try to beat it. But the thing I do when I'm trying to find like new stuff to get, especially cereal in America, all of it has like, I wouldn't say all of it. Most cereals have a lot of chemicals that are banned in other countries or have items that are like linked to cancer. So what I did is like I'll just like take a picture of the ingredient section and I'll ask if there's anything in here that's been linked to cancer in the United States. BHT is one of them. It's like a preservative and it's actually banned in other countries. And I'm so sad because all of like the granola cereal that I want has BHT in it. So I had to say goodbye to those beautiful cereals. Um, but I do that because like I grew up with like family that like drink a lot of soda and snacks, and I'm just like, this does not taste good. Or it might taste good, but I don't feel good. So what's actually in these ingredients, you know? I think one of the reasons why I did that is like both of my dad's parents had cancer. They actually died of cancer. And my dad had cancer back in 2022 and he beat it. So I think I was like more like conscious to like, okay, what are we putting in our bodies and is it healthy for us? I also use like ChatGPT though to like track like my prices at the store. I'll like put in the website links and I'll say, here's all the things I need to buy. Can you total them up and let me know how much they cost right now? Because I compare against like Costco and Walmart and they're like right next to each other. So I'll say, where does it make sense? You know, do I want to get 10 pounds of potatoes for $5 or 10 pounds for $10? So yeah.
Let ChatGPT sort of do that analysis, right?
Yeah. Or just take a picture of your fridge or list
Yeah.
out what you have in your fridge and say like, what creative things can I make for dinner tonight with that I have in the fridge right now? Um, I made a
That's
lot of,
interesting. I should
yeah,
try that for dinner.
yeah. I've done a lot of weird meals to test it out, but it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So it'll actually give you some recommendations of, recipes that you could try out. Okay, very cool. I know we were a little off topic over there, but, I think it kind of led, in very well with, one of the other questions that I was going to ask you was, like what are sort of the other use cases that we have outside of, like real estate? And I think we just talked about, a few of them. That's awesome. Um, I kind of want to, talk about real estate and you being able to, use, AI in other parts of, like just the real estate industry. I know there's just so many different segments and asset classes that, they could be used in, right? Like I know we talked about, you kind of mentioned, there's investor relations and, there's capital raising, there's, as not asset management, you said underwriting and like acquisition or market research and so on. Given that there are so many different use cases, can you talk about or give us, like an example of how like the AI driven sort of analytics, you can use that to improve your investment decision or, to know that, well, here's all these different components, but you can actually improve those, take all that data and use it to actually improve that investment decision.
Okay, I feel like there's like a few questions in there. Okay, so break it down. So like
So,
break it down a little bit.
yeah, so, I know we talked about several different asset classes, right? Like, so, how would you use AI, an AI-driven sort of analytics to improve like investment decisions
I
in
kind
all
of
of these different use cases?
okay, so like
You
investment,
can
just
pick a few.
right? Investment.
Yeah.
Okay, so it kind of goes back to, let's say, anything with a PDF, if you have any physical information about like the actual investment that you want to invest in, like let's say like you're on the LP side and you're just trying to like identify like, is this deal actually for me? And you had to like go through all of the due diligence like yourself and like make sure like you're investing the right money into it, right? What you can do is like ask for all the documents, because if you're going to invest in a deal, you have the right to all those documents, the underwriting, the rent roll, the T12, all of that. And let's say you've never invested in a deal, you don't know what questions to ask. You can ask ChatGPT. I have questions to like questions that you should ask before getting into a deal. You can upload those questions or PDF, whatever you have, and just tell ChatGPT like, hey, like I want to invest in this deal. Give me the pros and cons and simplified overview for me. And that way you can read through it and have like a better understanding of like the verbiage that the syndicators are using. I know like with PPMs, like there are some investors that are a little bit older and they don't want to read through a PPM at all. What they can do is like break down the document page by page and have it like simplify the language so that they can understand it. And that's like stuff that we can do as well on our part, but educating them how to read that information before they talk to you is also helpful and saves time. But those are two ways I think are just like
Yeah.
taking the data. Like I said, I'm a huge ChatGPT person. I want to break down the language because I see a lot of companies kind of have like ChatGPT language in a lot of their stuff that they're using. So all of it kind of looks the same and it's not really like a fully formed idea because they didn't give it the right input to get the right output.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you can use ChatGPT to clear that up and kind of like reverse engineer it and say like, what information am I missing? Because like we can present like all this great information to investors, but what are we actually missing?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like let me ask, have you
Yeah.
used AI to analyze any of like your pitches or webinars to investors before you start them?
Yeah, so I have, and like I create like a pitch deck, and I'll put it into ChatGPT and say analyze this for me, and then I'll probe it or ask follow-up questions just to narrow it down, because I do want to understand like what's the output it would give you the first time around, and yeah. I'm sure
Awesome.
there's, other tricks there that I'm missing that you probably are a pro at.
I mean, like everyone is different. Like I definitely do things, people say I do things a little bit more detailed. Like I take it a few steps too far. But what I do is like I'll get on a Zoom call and it's like my practice session. Get on a Zoom call, I'll record it. I have an app, it's called Poised, poised.com.
Hmm.
I'll put it in the chat too.
Yeah.
Um, Poised is pretty cool because it monitors how you're speaking.
Hmm.
Let me see. I can only send a message to you.
Oh,
Uh,
I
it's
can,
so
I can
it's
post it.
called poise.com. You can invite it to your Zoom calls automatically. What I would do is like that pitch deck that you have, I would have like a practice call. So I'm using the right tone of voice. I'm going full out, reading the pitch deck and presenting. Take your transcript from that call, add that into ChatGPT alongside your pitch deck, And when you're rehearsing it, you will say like slide 1, slide 2, and then just start talking. You can have ChatGPT or whatever you use. If you use Gemini instead or Claude, you can add in both documents, your pitch deck and your transcript, and ask it to
Mhm.
see what information you're missing. Have like your own checklist, your due diligence checklist that you would give to your investors, and ask it what you're missing, what you can clarify more on. And then with poise, you can ask it like how you sounded. Did you sound confident? Did you use too many filler words? Did you sound like you had enough energy? That way, when you actually start pitching it to investors, you're like, okay, like I'm confident now. I was able to like identify what I needed to clarify a little bit more, where people might have more questions on. Now I can go back and make those edits to my speaking points and what I need to tell investors to actually get like a follow-up call with them.
That's that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm actually going to post that, for everyone. I think I found the website link.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
That's like the secret weapon, poise.
I was going to say that's the secret weapon. Very cool. Yeah. How do you actually go about using, AI? How do you, think like AI plays a role in, especially, not just personalization, but, like to come up with like marketing strategies, right? Like I know we talked about how people are using it in social media and you can tell that, you know, it's sort of not authentic, or, it's very, like a copy and paste of, what chat GPT output would be. Um, but how do you go about sort of, personalizing these, marketing strategies specifically for real estate, or, within the real estate, industry? It could be like, maybe agents or, agencies or brokerages, or, like, especially for, what we're involved in, like multifamily real estate, or, even for others, what recommendations, do you have, and
So
that
I
you want to
I think the biggest thing that I see with some people in real estate or any of those people that you get lots of messages from, if you get kind of like bombarded by different messages on different platforms, to me, I feel like that's a turnoff. I think that if people aren't reaching me like where I need to be met, I don't think that they're doing a great job. Um, I think that some people could benefit from like implementing like some type of like lead scoring. And if you don't know what that is, and definitely use ChatGPT to help build it out for your CRM, or even ask me questions. But it's basically coming up with a whole strategy and saying like, hey, did this person attend my webinar? Did they schedule a call with me? Did they interact with me on social media? Are they not opening up my messages? Are they unsubscribing? There's different ways to add or subtract points from your different investors, and definitely like adding tags to everybody. So every time I go to a conference, I'll tag that I met them at this conference. This person scheduled a call with me. Anything, right? One other thing that I do is separate people by like gender. I know that's
Mhm.
bad. I don't know, 2024, good and bad, but I'll ask ChatGPT to like read all the first names and let me know definitely which ones are female, definitely which ones are male, or what could be either. Um,
Mhm.
and then just kind of knowing your audience. If you know the people coming into your CRM, adding in as much information. For me, I travel a lot, so I want to make sure I have like where everyone lives. So if I'm going to Phoenix or Tampa, I know who lives there, and I can just send like a blast email or blast text and schedule a meetup.
Yeah.
For women, I tag a lot of women because like I do a lot of speaking events, and I was part of Latin Girls in Real Estate in Florida. So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, who's a woman who lives in Florida? Okay, let me personalize
Yeah.
this email just to them. Um,
Mhm.
or if you have like investors or JVs, LPs, GPs, you can separate all that. Different email communication. especially for like brokers too. You don't want to send like a silly kind of message to brokers. So if you can take them out of certain email threads, it's also beneficial to you, and sending specific emails to them and just different email campaigns just in general.
Yeah, no, that's great. I know you had mentioned earlier that you use, Go High Level. Are you able to, leverage or integrate ChatGPT to Go High Level at this point? I don't know if there is an
Mm,
integration, or how do you
there-
use the tools?
I feel like I saw some kind of integration in there. They have an integration where you can write your emails for you. I didn't see anything else besides that. I
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of doing that. And you could do that if you wanted to write your emails directly from Go High Level. I personally wouldn't, because I want to vet it out in my chat GPT, have it make sure it sounds like me and all that. If you're not a marketing pro, what I recommend, what I do is I have all of my different marketing strategies and email outline structures and hooks, calls to actions, book here. I have all of that laid out already, so I know exactly how to ask chat GPT instead of
Mhm.
doing it through my CRM. Um, but that's the only thing I've seen in here. I don't see any other option. I know there's different integrations that you can add into here, but I still feel like there's a lot more room for improvement as far as
Yeah,
like automations that it has. What CRM do you have?
Go High Level too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I use
great.
it for social media too, to schedule out different posts as well. Um, I'm a huge fan of having templates for everything. If I have to write something out more than 3 times, I had to have a template for it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to have to like do that repetitive stuff anymore. Like everything has to have some type of template for me, or have it laid out like as an SOP, because I can easily pass that on to someone else to do instead of me being the technician in my own company, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's, 100%, you want to make sure that you're able to scale by building out those systems versus, like just getting sucked into doing the work. So for sure.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
Linda had a question in here too. Do you want to save questions until the end?
Yeah, no, I was gonna, we can save, that, but I know there's one question here in terms of, like AI and how you've used crime reports.
Uh,
Have you used like AI with crime reports?
I definitely haven't myself. I would say like the underwriting part, I'm more so like on like the underwriting at the beginning, but I'm not the due diligence person, so I haven't used that personally. But I did have a question in there too. I had a follow-up question. Do you typically have PDFs of those crime reports, or just websites? Rashmi, do you know?
Oh, I'm not sure, like if she has PDFs, but there are websites, and I think I want to say that so here this might be something that is worth trying, right? Like you can go to a website and whatever website you're using, to like crime data or city data, and extract the crime information as a printout as a PDF, and upload that into ChatGPT and have them sort of analyze it or have it analyze it. I'm sure it would give you, an output. Not that I've tried it, but I have tried something similar in a different capacity where, I've shared like a bunch of different, um, uh, what is it, data, and asked it to extract the data and put it into a table.
Yeah.
So like if I'm comparing, and this was basically products that I was looking at, just different products and unit prices, and they were all in different languages as well. So, it actually did that. It extracted the data, it actually translated it, and, put it into a PDF. I'm not a PDF, I'm sorry, into a table format. So it was great, and I'm sure, and not that I've tried it, but, definitely, something to look at later to see
Yeah,
if that would work.
I think that Linda definitely messaged me after this. That's a good question. I feel like that would absolutely be possible, exactly like how you said it. If you can print any website, print a PDF. It technically is a PDF, so it could read it. I know ChatGPT has some issues if you upload like an image of the website, it can't read it because it's not a PDF, it can't grab the words. I've definitely been there when people send me like information to include in like my investor updates and it's just like an image. I can't read it, but what you could do, well, I guess that wouldn't be an issue. Because you can take text from an image now with ChatGPT. Um, but yeah, I think that like if you have any website, any URL, you can take all of that information that's on there. If it lists all of it on the same page, if it's a hyperlink to a different page, it's an issue. But if it has all the information on that page, print a PDF, add it to ChatGPT and ask it anything you wanted to. Like taking that whole website, for example, adding it to ChatGPT and putting it in like some sort of Excel format, adding it to all the information you have about that property, and you can compare it against other properties that you're trying to underwrite as well, and just kind of see which one's the best one to submit an LOI on.
Yeah, that's awesome. So she has another question here about, I do not have an example right now, but I'm, curious whether you ladies use ChatGPT to make better decisions when it comes to market locations, where to invest, for example, whether it'd be based on crime reports, but also like, job sectors and population growth and, other factors that, we could look at.
I feel like that goes back to what we were talking about. I think you
Yeah.
missed it, Linda. I think it was like towards the beginning. I was mentioning to Rashmi like taking stuff from like CBRE, ALN, or like Marcus and Millichap, all of those market updates that you do have, because they have PDFs of different markets. And hopefully your market that you're investing in is on there. If not, then I'm not sure how to go about that. But if you do have a market, let's say like Cincinnati or something, you can take all of those documents from all the different websites, add the crime reports into ChatGPT to just get a better decision on that. I'm not sure about like, there's a lot of different sponsors out there. A lot of them have like their own buy box, but definitely figure out what their buy boxes are. Multiple different sponsors have like those guidelines, and looking at these different markets that you want to invest in and kind of see like the compatibility for you and the sponsor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's so true to be able to, do that. You kind of come up with your own sort of criteria and the set of criterias and, make sure that, that not just from a sponsor or the wedding the sponsor standpoint, like that matches, right? I think that's great. Awesome. What are sort of, takeaways or actionable insights that you can actually share, with the audience, that they can apply, to not just their businesses, maybe their careers, their, also, within just real estate.
Yeah, I think that I would say just like focus on like continuous education. And I know I feel like that sounds like really broad, but never stop learning as far as like the little stuff with different AI and automations. I definitely encountered a lot of people that kind of hate on using ChatGPT or stuff that helps them. So I think whenever I encounter someone that's like, I'm never gonna use ChatGPT, I'm always gonna write everything myself, I'm like, I just know like I'm gonna be a little bit ahead of them because like they're taking that time to do everything manually. They're working harder and not smarter. So I would say just like keep learning and keep your ears open to like all the changes that are happening, because like we're just gonna keep like developing more efficiencies and automation. So just keep your mind open to that. I would say look at your processes right now. What's taking you the longest to do? how, like, what do you not like to do? Where is like all of the manual stuff that you can automate or come up with a process to hire someone else to come on? And if you have a team, figure out your different roles that you guys have and see how far you guys have gone this past 6 months and kind of see like the areas for improvement and how AI can help with that.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's awesome to be able to do that and kind of, see how we can tweak and, continue that process. That's great. Thank you. This is a question I definitely ask everyone. What would you tell your 13-year-old self that you wish you had, done?
My 13-year-old self,
Yeah.
what grade is that? Is that like 7th or 8th grade?
I want to say maybe 7th or 8th.
Okay. Middle school. I
Yeah.
was like a rebel in middle school. I feel like, I don't know, I felt like that was like the first time I felt like I was an adult, but I was like, why are they still treating me like a kid? I feel like I would say just like find a mentor, find like someone that you can like look up to. Someone that can like teach you about like right and wrong, and find a mentor that like a big sister kind of role. Like I had 3 older brothers, but I was always like the mature one, even though I was like, we're all 4 years apart, but oldest one is 12 years older. Um,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to take risks and just like pursue your passions. Um, I did like play like the viola, like the violin. I played that,
Oh,
but then I felt like it wasn't cool anymore. So I was like, oh, forget that. Um, if you like music, if you like sports, just do it and don't care like what anyone thinks, just be yourself. I
so
feel
good.
like I would have told myself a lot now looking back. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
Okay.
I think, yeah, just, one of the things that, like just getting that mentor and, being able to find whether it's, like a sister or brother or whoever your role model is, right? Like to
Yeah.
find that and, help them sort of, help you navigate. That's awesome.
I
Um,
I think it's so funny. I just remembered when I was in like first grade and they had like book buddies. Everyone had a book buddy that was in sixth grade. And her name was also Cassie. And we still keep in touch to this day. I met her when I was in first grade. And now we're like, oh my God, hey, book buddy, the Cassies. I feel like everyone kind of needs that in their life, just someone like a little bit older to just like warn them
yeah.
about stuff before they get there, you know?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's so powerful. Great. I know we're, coming up on the hour. I do want to, give you the opportunity. I know you have a few things that you want to share with the audience. So, I'll let you share, that, how can people contact you, Cassie, if they want to reach out and, learn a little bit more or, get your help with, AI and, how you can help them with their business.
Yes, I'm gonna put my digital card in the chat. Rashmi, it looks like I can only send it to you, so if you can send it to them, that'd be great. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm the CEO of CreativeMinds.ai. The website is thecreativeminds.ai. We help with a lot of like AI digital marketing, helping you with your CRM, virtual assistant management, and like your social media. We can help develop your strategy, your content, and help like CRMs, everything, all within that digital marketing realm. I also am in real estate. I work as investor relations and work with teams to raise capital. But yeah, that's my digital card in the chat if you'd like to share that with them. Feel free to follow me on social media as well. I'm gonna add in my LinkedIn in a second. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how they can reach me.
That's awesome. I know I posted it in the chat. I'm going to have to look at, why you're not able to post it, with everyone. Maybe it's something to do with the setting, but we'll get that taken care of. Sorry about that. But Yeah, no, this is great. Thank you again for, being on, sharing all the little, tricks of how we can leverage, AI and, being able to, continue to sort of use that going forward and see how, uh, that can help us and I'm sure it's going to become a norm soon. It's just about, I suppose getting ahead of the curve and, being able to learn, about it and see how we can leverage it, better in our day to day.
Definitely work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, for
Very-
sure. For
very-
sure. On that note, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.